Is it possible to start a Pokemon business with £0 in the bank? The realistic answer to this question is no. And the reason for that is because with £0, and let's assume you have no stock, what are you going to do? You can't do anything, right? So the realistic answer is no. However, if you have £0 in the bank and you already have stock because you used to be a collector, maybe, or every time you get some money, let's say you're working or however else you're getting your income, and you purchase some Pokemon cards, you have stock. So if you have £0 in the bank but you have stock, then it's possible. Now, what if the stock you have isn't anything crazy? So you don't have a big Charizard or, a big SIR card like the Gengar from Ascended Heroes or the Evolutions, the Umbreon, the Moonbreon. Is it possible then to start a business? Yes, it is. However, that will be a lot slower. So you'll have a lot slower of a business, especially to start with. Now, if you already own stock, I would say you need at least like 1,000 cards probably to at least be somewhat comfortable. And they have to also include reverse holos, exclude trainers unless they're playable cards, and obviously exclude energy cards. You can sell energy cards, don't get me wrong. However, they are in like big bulk, like thousands at a time, maybe hundreds. It just depends. If you sell 100 energy cards at £1, then fair enough. But yeah, is it possible to start a Pokemon business with £0 in the bank? Yes and no, like I said. If you've already got stock, then it's possible. If you don't have stock, then it's impossible. I would say if you're working, so if you're working a 9 to 5 or, just working in general and having an income, and you are genuinely interested at starting a Pokemon business, it doesn't have to be Pokemon, it could be any TCG. I would say at least for the start of it, invest around £50 a month. You're not risking too much, unless of course £50 is too much for you, then please don't do it. Like, just don't do it. Only risk what you can afford to lose, because at the end of the day, it is a gamble. So definitely only risk what you can afford to lose. In the long run, it might work out. However, please just be careful with what it is that you're doing and the way you're spending your money. This isn't financial advice, by the way, at all. Just saying, if you do want to start it, I would say around £50 a month, just to kick things off, is a good starting point. Now, if you've got £0 in the bank, a little bit of stock, say 1,000 cards, and you manage to somehow sell them 1,000 cards for anywhere between 2p a card up to, let's say, £1 a card, right? So after your first month, you've somehow sold 1,000 cards, and you now have, best case scenario, you've now got an extra £50 in the bank from all of them sales. So that's £0 to £50 for the first month. And let's say you are working in this scenario and you invest another £50 into the business. So now you have £100 in the bank just for the business alone. How do you spend that money? This is the difficult part, because there's numerous avenues that you can take. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to talk about the Pokemon route, or at least the route that I tend to go down. That's using Card Market. I'm not at all affiliated with Card Market. I just purchase my cards from Card Market if they're cheap enough. I've mentioned this in a previous video. You need to have a structure in place with the cards that you're buying. The structure that I use is I like to buy certain artists. So I would buy Yukamori's or Kamir, Sosos, Sakuitos as well. And I also look for cameo cards. So that's what I'm kind of trying to specialize in, is the artist side and the cameo cards. So what I would say, if you do end up doing this and you, like I said, in your first month, you make £50, put another £50 on top of that, you have £100. At least have a structure with that money. So like what you're buying, because if you don't, then you will struggle a little bit more. There are certain ways you can make money without a real structure. However, in my experience, it can be very slow. And what that is basically, let's say you've got £100 and each card that you purchase from Card Market is 2p. So 1,000 cards is £20, right? So you can get 5,000 cards for £100. is effectively what you're looking at. Now, with them 5,000 cards, you can make bundles on eBay. So let's say you make bundles of, I don't know, 20 cards and you sell that bundle for £2.50. You know, you can do it that way. There's numerous avenues that you can take. However, just make sure that you do have this structure in place, because if you don't, it can hurt you in the long run. But like I said, at the start, it's all trial and error. You want to just make sure you've got something to aim for, you know, learn from your mistakes, and it's all trial and error. So you just want to make sure that if you do make a mistake, you know, you purchase stuff and then it doesn't sell for the next 6 months, learn from that mistake. Why didn't it sell? Oh, it's not a popular Pokemon. The artist isn't really very popular, and no one's looking for this particular card. If you're doing it in bundles, then it's fairly easier because you can just ship them off in them bundles. But yeah, from £0 in the bank, is it possible to start a TCG business? It 100% is, if you have the stock. If you don't have the stock, then you have to invest your own money into buying the stock. And like I've mentioned, the best place that I've found that's the easiest is definitely just buying cheaper cards on Card Market. Because if you're trying to purchase from Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, Discord servers, etc., there's numerous ways that you can just get scammed, and it's I've seen it firsthand numerous times. And even myself, I haven't been scammed, but I've spoken with scammers. So I like to troll them. It's quite funny, you know. They might message me if I put a listing up saying, or a message up saying I'm buying some bulk cards, you know, drop me a message and I'll give you my prices, etc. I would then get messages, and you can kind of tell when it's like a bot or an AI response. And I had this guy recently. His responses were very sus, and I was like, right, okay, just give me a call. You know, give me a call on Discord so I can talk to you. And it was it was just so funny, man. Like you could just tell that he was just wanting to scam people and just get people's money. And yeah, it was a disgrace. So yeah, just be careful. Like I said, the best way is probably Card Market if you're looking to sell stuff onto eBay. Definitely buy from Card Market. It's the safest, unless you find listings on Facebook Marketplace and you can go and physically meet these people and check the cards over, and you know, then obviously you can do it that way. But just be careful when shopping around on places that aren't like secure. Yeah, obviously the other place that you can get stuff is from your friends. If they're collectors, buy their bulk. You know, I'm pretty sure you could probably get some mates rates. And for all you non-UK, mates rates basically means a discount because they're your friend. Like I said, you can definitely start it with £0 in the bank if you've got stock. If you don't have stock, then you're going to have to invest, I would say, at least £50 a month, just so you can kind of work into it. After that, you're going to look at investing more heavily, especially on like scanners. For example, the scanner that I use is the Canon DRC230. It only cost me £240. I say only, but it has saved me so much time and hassle. I know a lot of people are after the more expensive scanner. I can't quite remember what it is. I think it's like a Fuji scanner, and it's like 600 and something pound. And I was like, I'm not spending £600 on a scanner, you know, when I can definitely find another scanner that does the same thing. And I found one, and it works perfectly. Like, it's flawless. The image is so good as well. Yeah, so there will be investments that you'll have to make: top loaders, sleeves, all the packaging stuff. That just kind of comes with it. So just bear that in mind. And yeah, if you're into TCG, definitely try it out, man, because you learn a lot and you start to appreciate a lot of things that you wouldn't normally appreciate, especially with like certain cards, the artists, and the way they look, and whatever. Especially if you then purchase a scanner and you start uploading your cards to like CardUploader, for example. My link will be in description for CardUploader. It is such a good website if you are selling stuff, because oh man, it just helps you big time. And you might scan like, let's say you scan 500 cards and you upload them to CardUploader. You can see if there's any cards in there that are actually worth money, and you wouldn't have thought they were worth money. It's just beneficial to have, especially if you're starting to make money. Only invest once you're making money. So yeah, that's pretty much me done. If you have any questions, please like follow us on Twitter, drop us a message, or just drop a comment. I read every comment, and yeah, I hope to see you all in the next video.